come take a look at what we've been working on. So, the Yellow Bean Flagship Store, one of the more famous spots in Maine, and they've always done a really big holiday display. It's been an absolute honor to work on it. I think this year's the best one yet. So we've got a bunch of different zones in this. I've kind of got them all designated. The first one we've got along Main Street, and we decorate this one a little bit differently because Freeport has a sparkle parade each year. So I need to make it a little bit sparkly. So I've got a triple wrap on these trees where we have a warm white, a pure white, and a champagne. The champagne is a really, really great light, and that's already a mix of the warm white and pure white, and it's got a little bit of a strobe effect in there, but it gets a little overpowering. So we mix it in with primarily just the warm white and pure white, and it creates this nice, almost twinkly effect without being too overpowering. And then as we move on from here, we're entering almost a little enchanted forest. And the name of the Yellow Bean display is the Northern Lights display. So we went with all Northern Lights colors. That being said, Yellow Bean also likes flexibility, so instead of going with dedicated colors for this, we've got a fully color changing display. Now, this tunnel is actually a permanent installation for them. You see how the lights are kind of moving in waves across, right? The only way that that's possible is with 3D mapping. So we've got a Twinkly Plus tunnel that is like fully 3D mapped. It took days to get that right, but you essentially scan it all with your phone, and then it reads where the lights are, and they know where they are in relation to each other, and you can create these beautiful effects like this, where it does have an aurora sort of effect. Now on the outside here, these are all rooted trees in the park, have a color changing 5mm wrap, and we vary the height depending on A, what we can get to, and B, what we can get to consistently. This area, we're trying to keep as kind of consistent height as possible and just get as many in there so that we can get a nice blend of the Northern Lights colors. Then this area is not quite complete yet. They bring in a snow globe for people to take some photos in. We're gonna get a little floodlight in there for them to help with the photos. It creates a little Instagrammable moment. And then on either side here, we've built two groves. You'll see a lot more groves in a second. We've brought these trees in from Fairwinds Farms up in Bodenham. Got them stood up, weatherproof, and wrapped in lights. For all those that we brought in, I like to stick with kind of a warm white for the trees that we bring in, just because that's kind of a classic Christmas look. It creates a warmth, and with the backdrop of the color, you kind of get the best of both worlds on this one. A lot of times it almost seems like there's a choice between, hey, am I going to do all these funky colors and stuff like that, or am I going to go with the classic, white Christmas look? And you don't always necessarily have to make that choice. This project is a great example of where having one really makes the other even better. I think that if this was all color changing and stuff like that, it would be kind of overwhelming, almost like a carnival, but it wouldn't have the same effect as if we just had white throughout the park. It would still be beautiful, don't get me wrong, but this, you've got the contrast, and that's what we're really looking for. This is their main entrance right now, famous LL Bean booth. This is an area we definitely focused on. We brought in live garland and got that layered above the entrance here, and then we built groves on either side here. And this particular tree is one of the bigger ones on the property, 14 foot. He actually put it up on a rock to give it even more height, and put some other trees around it so it looks even bigger. Then over here we've got a couple small groves and their camper van. So they'll be doing hot cocoa out of this each year, and they'll often offer some free coffee out of it, which has kept me going throughout this. Something that I very much appreciate. We want to draw attention to it with a couple of groves. Now we're moving over to the white pines. These trees are massive, absolutely massive. Even a 60-foot boom isn't going to come close to getting to the top of these. So what we do is we get it to a consistent height throughout. We still got a little bit of work that we're going to finish up tomorrow morning on this first one. The rest should be good to go, and this creates a wonderful backdrop to you see there's still some work in progress over here, but this is This is the center of the show. So they bring in the Shelter Institute each year, and they build this whole barn in 2 days. Now, doesn't really have anything else besides the barn, so we put in a bunch of lights. On Friday, you'll be able to see the inside, which we like with actually some landscape lights, and create a nice warm effect in there. But you can kind of see the exit here, and it's all surrounded by these wonderful groves and these heated benches that they bring in as well. These take a little bit of work to set up. We centered around 3 to 4 large 12 to 14 foot trees in the back, and then fill it in with all of these smaller trees, and then wrap them in lights to create a little enchanted forest. It gives people the sense that they can come here and sit down and relax and just be surrounded by all this beautiful light. There's really nothing like it in Maine, nothing like it I've seen in the world for this. And we've got a relatively small part in the setting up that whole thing. They bring in a lot of other people for it, but just building those groves and getting them lit is, I think, the touch that they really need. Here is probably the best tree that we have ever done. Not quite finished yet, but I went with the same theme as we've got over on Main Street, because I think that this is probably the most classic Christmas look that you can have. And that mix of the warm and the pure white almost creates a sense of it's almost golden, and then just a slight amount of the twinkle in there from the champagne lights, and you've got a beautiful tree. Now, each one of these branches is wrapped, which is taken my lead installer Sky, which you guys have met before. He's been in that for, I think this is the 4th day that he's been in it. He's just finishing up now, and we'll see what kind of finishing touches we can bring to it to really bring it all together. This is it.